Welcome to Sports and Politics with T. I'm your host, Tanya. Tonight we have made it back to Thursday, guys. Listen, I hope everybody's enjoyed their week so far. We have made it. It is June the 4th, guys. Already about the first week, already over in June. Let's give it up. That's right. We have made it another week in the bag with Sports and Politics with T. Listen, again, I hope everybody has enjoyed this week. We've got a lot of things to talk about tonight as far as Donald Trump and what's going on with the 250th anniversary concert. Yes, a lot of artists are backing out of the concert due to misleading information. So we're going to dive deep about this segment later on in the video. Also, later on at the end of the show, we're going to talk about some upcoming changes going into the third season. I decided we were going to talk about it a little bit earlier. I was going to wait till July to bring it up, but I decided we're going to talk about it actually tonight as far as some of the things that's going to be taking place and some of the things that I feel like is going to bring this show out even more, which I really feel y'all are going to love starting in August. Okay. Also, let me just say that the NBA playoffs has begun. We are tracking the teams. We know that San Antonio has won against Oklahoma. And so now we are filming in on the next two teams. We're going to be diving deep into that as well. And we're going to enlighten you as far as who's, progressing and who's going to be going to the finals in June. So that's going to be coming up in the next week or two. So don't think that we're not covering those sports because we are still involved in that as well. Okay. But also, guys, yes, tonight we are going to dive deep about the Donald Trump administration. So Donald Trump decides he wants to have a concert celebrating America's 250th anniversary. And so he did decide to, have a lot of artists perform. However, a lot of the artists are saying that they didn't realize that this was more of a political event. And so a lot of artists has backed out of this equation. So we're going to listen in on the NBC segment, which is coming up in just a second. And I'm going to let you know how I feel about this segment once it's over. And then we're going to dissect this video after it's complete.
And saying the judge should, quote, be ashamed, but conceding he will give control of it back to Congress. For an event celebrating America's 250th birthday on the National Mall, a new snag.
This will be a time like you've never had in your lives. America 250.
6 musical artists originally announced as performers now dropping out, many citing political
Look how many people have already dropped out of this, guys. I'm sorry, I had to stop it because they didn't realize that Trump was behind this. Okay, this is what we're trying to say. So anyway, let's keep going.
Concerns. Country singer Martina McBride writing, I was presented with an opportunity to perform at a nonpartisan event, but that turned out to be misleading. Rapper Young MC saying, artists were never told about any political involvement. And Poison frontman Bret Michaels writing, it's evolved into something much more divisive than I agreed to be part of. The event is organized by Freedom 250, a public-private partnership launched by President Trump.
We have a president that wants to celebrate 250 years of America, and that's exactly what we're doing. And that's how it was sold to performers.
And not everyone is backing out. A representative for Vanilla Ice telling NBC News he is proud to help celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Others still slated to perform include Flo Rida, CNC Music Factory, and Fab Morvan of Milli Vanilli. And up first, The Cage going up for that big UFC fight at the White House. The Defense Department offering troops free tickets, but requiring they meet certain height and weight requirements, according to a Pentagon memo which calls it a high-visibility event. And tonight, a judge blocking President Trump's closure of the Kennedy Center and ordering his name be removed from the building. The president saying the judge should, quote, be ashamed, but conceding he will give control of it back to Congress. Tom?
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
All right, so you see with NBC that some of the artists are feeling like they were misled, guys. They didn't realize that this celebration that they were invited to perform for was a political thing for probably the Republican Party. So you saw how many X's, you see how many have stepped down. Okay. We know Morris Day in the time, or Morris Day has stepped down. And there's a few other ones. We're going to get the whole list in just a second. But there's quite a few that decide, hey, I'm not going to be a part of this. And because think about it, this could be very detrimental to their whole career, you know. And like I said before, if you're willing to ride the wave, if you're willing to, you know, step all in and go down in flames with it, fine. But as you can see, some of these artists was like, no, and they backed out quickly. Okay. But anyway, let's listen in on what Trump thinks about these musicians withdrawing from this concert that he tried to put together.
Facts for President Trump. He has suggested canceling all Freedom 250 concerts after several musicians pulled out. The event is meant to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Trump is also facing legal challenges surrounding both the Kennedy Center and the DOJ's Anti-Weaponization Fund. This all caused a flurry of posts from the president on social media. You can see some of them here on your screen. In the posts, Trump slammed so-called overpriced singers and what he called the rigged court system. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins us now. It's Weijia, we were just chatting earlier, Adriana and I, about how you and Gail were able, at least Gail was able to surmise who the president was thinking about replacing. All of those great acts like Kid Rock, or no, not Kid Rock. Who's the other dude? Ice Baby.
Vanilla
Ice.
Vanilla
Yeah,
Ice. You of all people, Vlad.
And Bret Michaels from Poison. And yes, who is bigger?
The big person?
Who's drawing more people
Who's
than
huge?
Elvis Presley ever did in his prime?
Who's it going to be?
Well, according to President Trump, it's President Trump. He says it is the greatest attraction anywhere in the world, so why not bring him to fulfill the needs of what these artists would have instead of having a concert series. But we should note, guys, that nothing has been officially canceled. Organizers have not said whether they are going to try to replace all these other artists who pulled out, or if they are going to do what the president suggests here and have the GOAT, Donald J. Trump, to take the place of these highly paid third-rate artists. So we are in a
Just to be
standby
clear,
mode.
that's a quote.
That is a quote, yes. And to be clear, we are in standby mode because we don't know yet what they plan to do. But I think what's important to point out is that it was the Freedom 250 group that organized this event. And that is a group that the Trump administration actually put together, not to be confused with America 250, which is a formal bipartisan nonprofit that has been tasked with putting on official events to celebrate America's birthday. And perhaps the artists got confused too and thought it was that commission that was putting on this huge concert series, when in fact it was a leg of the administration. They have been very vocal about why they pulled out, saying that they thought they were signing up for something that wasn't political in nature, but now it has become too partisan. So I'm sure their lawyers are involved. I'm sure organizers' lawyers are involved. We still don't have a lot of answers about whether this big concert series will happen or not.
Weijia, why then is the the Interior Secretary saying this is a nonpartisan event? That's what I can't quite square, because the administration is saying it's nonpartisan, but these artists believe it is.
Well, the argument is that when you're talking about celebrating America's birthday and America's history, it affects and impacts every American. It's not just for Republicans, it's for everybody. And so the Freedom 250 is actually part of a broader task force that the White House created, but the group itself also says it is nonpartisan. It's the fundraising leg. It plans events, but it's not focused on the political side of things. So perhaps that is why. But it still stems from the White House.
All right, Ouija, let me ask you about this federal judge that has ordered the president's name to be removed from the Kennedy Center and has also blocked its closure. So just so people understand, so I understand, does this mean because the president's name is already up there, went up immediately after he decided to rename it the Trump Kennedy Center, does that mean we will see images of that name coming down from the Kennedy Center in the very near future?
Well, the administration still has time to appeal this decision, and it certainly plans to. So ultimately, if it loses, then yes, what you see there, Donald Trump's name would have to come down. But this judge said in his ruling that it's not that they can never rename this center or that they can never shut it down for renovations, but he wrote in his opinion that it didn't follow the due process. It didn't follow the proper procedure, which is why it was not legal. And so that is what the Trump administration will now try to fight back against, because you may remember the president completely changed the board. The board was the one that voted to have 2 years of renovations and restorations. The judge also made clear that Congress did approve a tranche of money for maintenance, for repairs to the Kennedy Center. And he said those can continue. It's just the closure of it that could not.
All right, Ouija. Thank you very much. As always, my friend. Appreciate it.
1 second.
All right, so you see right there that he's upset, guys. He's mad that people are pulling out of this concert. Again, they were misinformed. They were misled. These artists did not think it was going to be a political type concert. And so now you do got a few that are trying to hang on. I think, what's his name? Moravian Fabian from Milli Vanilli, the old group. I think he's still in it. I think Vanilla Ice is still in it, that they are, I think, considering still performing. And Flo Rida, the rapper. So we'll see. There's a few people that's still in it, but, the more and more that's dropping off, that's not looking good, guys. Again, you are putting your career on the line for a man that does not care about your welfare. These people they're millionaires. They have built their life on, pretty much the whole population, right? So they're not going to try to get affiliated with, anything under Trump, because they know what he stands for. And they know that if they do, that could be the end of their career as well. So we're going to keep following this just to see, what they're going to do, what they're going to come up with. Are they going to cancel this concert altogether? Are they going to have replacements? So it is just crazy. It is crazy. But anyway, let's move forward. And again, he's upset. Let's listen in on this right here. This is Paul's Politics. This is another podcaster I listen to. And let's just break this video down again once it's over and it's complete.
They literally catfish musicians into just headlining at a Trump rally, the 250 concert. And now he's completely melting down on True Social because nobody wants to perform at his propaganda festival. And all these artists are completely disappearing. Just real quick, I want to scroll through some of them. Brett Michaels is out. Milli Vanilli is out. Martina McBride is out. Morris Day and the Time is out. Young MC is out. The Commodores are out. It's nobody's sticking around. Vanilla Ice, so I guess there's that. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe. Let's check out the clips.
Donnie is having a sad little toddler crash out. After nearly every single artist pulled out of that stupid Freedom 250 concert at the National Mall, he got on Turd Social to issue a lengthy crybaby response saying that, you know what, maybe he'll just headline the whole thing. He said, I understand artists are getting the yips having to do with the performance on Wednesday, so I'm thinking about bringing the #1 attraction anywhere in the world, the man who gets much larger crowds than Elvis in his prime, and he does so without a guitar. The man who loves our country more than anyone else, and the man who some say is the greatest president in history, the GOAT, Donald J. Trump, to take the place of these highly paid third-rate artists, who, remember, up until a couple days ago, he thought they...
Wait a minute. Did you hear what he just said? See, this is a prime example. When you don't do what he says do, he just put all those artists down. Go listen to what he just said. Highly paid third-rate artists. Actually, no. Go back. Let me hear that one more time. Let's just hear that.
the place of these highly paid third-rate artists.
Highly paid third-rate artists. He's already done put these artists down all because they decide to say, you know what? No, we are not going to be a part of this celebration at all. Okay.
Who, remember, up until a couple days ago, he thought they were awesome. But they said they didn't want to do this, so obviously he suddenly hates them now.
You see how he flips on a dime just like that? He's not loyal to anybody, guys. Okay, white, black, really Republican or Democrat. He doesn't care. He's all about control. That's it. If you don't do what he says, if you don't do everything he just said it just what I was just saying. He turned on him just like that. Just like that in a blink.
So he said, by copy of this truth, I am ordering my representatives to look at the feasibility of doing an America is Back rally. Same time, same location. Only great patriots invited. He couldn't get performers to do a concert, so he's gonna just hold a stupid rally where he's gonna say the same shit he said 1,000 times. He's gonna tell people that affordability is a joke. He's gonna tell people that this is the golden age because he says so. He's gonna rant about his 2020 loss and about rigged elections. It's gonna be the same shit people have heard 1,000 times. And you know what? This whole 250th anniversary thing is just going to end up looking like a repeat of his sad birthday last year. Remember the parade, the sparse crowds, the silence, the squeaky wheels?
It was terrible, guys. Actually, I did a video on that last year, too. Y'all check out that video. We actually covered that probably around the same time last year, and it was again, hardly nobody there. Okay, it was like maybe one or two. You had a few little people going down the road. He was asleep in the audience. I mean, at his own parade. So this man is definitely all the way 100.
Was absolutely embarrassing, and it's going to happen all over again. Everybody hates him so much, and he has to pretend that everybody thinks he's the greatest president ever. So he's going to throw a party by himself, and he's going to give himself presents. He doesn't need you guys. Just like he doesn't even want the Kennedy Center anymore. This meltdown is absolutely beautiful.
Truly. The man is so desperate for validation that he's threatening to perform himself after every actual artist bailed. This is what happens when your brand becomes toxic to anyone with a career to protect, which is everyone you try to involve yourself with.
Finding the right roofing.
And again, it's all about him, y'all. I've said this since day one, even from last year around this time, same thing. Okay, the ego is powerful. He can't get past that. This is making him look really, really bad. Every artist, now they're saying, okay, so I was wrong when I said Vanilla Ice. I guess all of them have backed out too. Why would you stay when you see majority of the artists not performing? No way. That's your career. And I'm going to say this again. You got to be willing to go down in flames. If this is what you want, if this is who you want to subside or you want to, take sides with, fine. Okay. But be prepared for the backlash. Be prepared to lose it and risk it all. And these artists decided, no, absolutely not. Okay. So anyway, let's just keep going.
Contractor takes careful consideration. GAF.com makes it easy.
They lied to every single artist. Every single one. The Trump administration put together a massive concert lineup for their so-called Freedom 250 celebration. Martina McBride, the Commodores, Young MC, Morris Day, CNC Music Factory, Milli Vanilli. Big names, real draw. There's just one problem. Not one of them knew it was a Trump event. That's not speculation. These artists said it themselves, on the record, publicly, one after another. Their agents were told this was a nonpartisan celebration of all 50 states, a state fair, wholesome, community, music bringing people together. Martina McBride posted it directly. I asked a lot of questions and was assured this was a nonpartisan event. Then, the day before the announcement went public, things started changing. She found out what it really was. She quit. Then the Commodores quit. Young MC quit. Morris Day quit. CNC Music Factory's Freedom Williams went on video and said, and I'm paraphrasing, My agent called me 3 months ago about a show in D.C. He didn't say anything about Trump. I hate Donald Trump. One by one, gone.
So they told booking agents it was a community fair and hid the fact that it was a Trump campaign propaganda. You know, that's not miscommunication, that's fraud. And it shows just how impossible it is to get anyone legitimate near him anymore at all. And also, side note, I thought this was a real person for a second. It's AI is getting really good. That is an AI person right there. If you weren't aware, that it's getting really good. In a year or two from now, it's scary. Anyways, let's be on the point. Moving on.
So your boy Donald Trump is throwing a concert at the White House, the 250th Freedom Concert, and some of the acts that were booked for this concert didn't know that they were booked and are pulling out.
Ridiculous.
And because of this, the internet is absolutely showing zero chill and creating the most hilarious thread I have ever seen. You've got to look at this. The To Be Sharps are pulling out of the concert. Magnificent has to regrettably pull out of the concert. Tay Zonde is pulling out, so that means there's no chocolate rain. The Von Trapp family says we've already seen this and we're pulling out. Fortunately, Randy Watson and Sexual Chocolate will not be making the concert. They're pulling out. Jim and the Holograms regrettably have to pull out from the concert as well. A Quarter Black is pulling out. And this one was a true blow. The Kenosha Kickers is pulling out. I'm truly sad to see this. Prestige Worldwide is pulling out of the concert. Alvin and the Chipmunks sadly will not be able to make the concert as well. And probably the biggest blow to the concert.
And he's naming a lot of cartoons, old cartoons at that. So when he said Jim and the Holograms, I said, wait a minute, that's a cartoon. But look, again, he's trying to be funny. What he's saying, there's nobody sticking around. Okay. Nobody wants to be a part of this. The Commodores, Morris Day, CNC Music Factory, now Vanilla Ice, the McBride lady. I mean, what does that say, guys? I mean, you know, forget what I'm saying. Look at the response that people are showing and displaying to the Americans. Okay. They have too much to lose. And I don't blame them. I would not want to be associated. And like they were saying, they weren't told this. They were saying that they thought this was just a regular community event. But the minute they found out about it, they didn't want nothing to do with this.
Concert thus far, Timmy and the Lords of the Underground will not be making the 250th Freedom Concert.
Mental. I mean, not a single artist they, quote unquote, booked actually agreed to this, which really isn't surprising. And now the internet is dunking on him while he, of course, spirals where he usually does on his little social media. I mean, when you have to lie to get performers, you've lost the culture war just absolutely completely. You have since the very beginning and get-go, but, you know, now we're here.
Well, all right, guys, I just wanted to cover this for tonight. You know, this is just going to be a brief segment about the 250th concert collapse. You know, it shows you that there are a lot of people that see through him and that they don't want nothing to do with this administration. Not even a regular concert, guys. They don't even want to perform for this because at the end of the day, he even turned on them just like that. You see, his heart is not really what he says he confesses. You know, if this was something that he really felt true about, why turn on the artist just because they back out of it? You know, so. But anyway, I hope y'all have, you know, enjoyed the show for tonight. I will be back on Monday at 8 p.m. And if you enjoyed the concert, or excuse me, not the concert, if you enjoyed the show, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you can, please hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any episodes every time I come on to YouTube. I'll be back again on Monday at 8 p.m. And I hope you enjoyed the show for tonight. Yes, so again, we will be back. Sports and Politics with T. And also, I will be showing even more scores for the NBA playoffs. So definitely catch it on tomorrow. We're going to be posting scores of the playoffs as well. Okay. All right, guys. So again, I'm going to let everybody go. And again, thank you for watching Sports and Politics with T. And everybody enjoy the rest of your night. Everybody take care. And I'll see you Monday at 8 p.m. Take care. Bye-bye.